Curling, role-playing games, Finding Nemo. 3 things that don't seem to have much in common. And 3 things that haven't been combined much. I mean, it's not like the Swedish curling team is playing Shining Force between their matches at the Olympics with Ellen DeGeneres. See, you can't even make up a scenario combining these things. But they're like oil and water in Pixar. And then you play this and they suddenly become peanut butter and jelly. And Pixar, it's Squids Odyssey for the Nintendo Wii U. So let's swim through the trench here and cut to the chase. This is a pretty cool game. If you have a Wii U, you're looking for something fun and different and cheap, Squids Odyssey is highly recommended. It's a clever action RPG that just so happens to be fun and different and cheap. Not to mention so original, it's hard to think of a game that compares. I mean, maybe Angry Birds, but more like Angry Squids, the RPG sequel, The Revenge? Thankfully, it's not called that. That name sucks. But, speaking of Angry Birds, Squids Odyssey has a similar kind of gameplay, but with more curling. You have a team, a little squid squad, and you have to move them through the water by pulling back on their stretchy tentacles and launching them like deep sea missiles. Really squishy missiles that taste great deep fried. So you can move each squid as long as their stamina allows. Once you've moved all your squids, your turn's over. And that's when the enemy squids back. What I love about Squids is that the gameplay's built on a really simple idea, right? Launch your squids into things. There are bad guys to fight, treasure chests to open, and you do all these things by launching into them. It's easy to understand and even easier to play, but it also adds a bit of depth. So for example, each squid has different abilities. Some have guns, some can heal their teammates, and actually this is where the RPG elements come in, because you're the one who puts your team together. And there's a bit of strategy in terms of which squids you choose, and figuring out which ones work best together given your playstyle. And actually, there's strategy to the gameplay itself, because it's not just about hitting your opponents, it's about hitting them and also protecting yourself. Like, you don't want to use up all your stamina just attacking. It might make more sense to attack and then to create some space, so you don't end your turn right next to the enemy. Or maybe use your remaining stamina to grab a bottle, which might have a defense power-up. So even though it's got a simple foundation, there's a surprising amount of strategy and nuance on top of it. And that combination of simplicity and depth, that's what makes this game so much fun. Of course, another reason the game works is how it controls. Now, you can choose to play with the game on your TV, and that works fine. But the best way to play this game is off-screen, with the entire game on the gamepad. That way, you're pulling on the squids directly, which makes aiming a lot easier visually. And not only that, it just feels right. Like, I've played previous Squids games on iOS, and it actually feels better with the stylus. It doesn't drag on the screen like your finger can, and it doesn't block your view as much. In fact, I loved games like Squids Wild West on my iPhone, but Squids is even better on Wii U, and it's just a great example of off-screen play. And you know, the presentation isn't bad either. I mean, even though the cutscenes are a bit sparse, the in-game stuff looks fantastic. Again, the art style is very Finding Nemo, and the characters in particular, really well done. They're cute and colorful, and actually with a lot more personality than you might expect from a downloadable eShop game. Like, it's kind of a shame so much generic crap sits right on store shelves, but a game like Squids has to be fished out of a digital store. But, of course, the game has other drawbacks, and the menus are oddly clunky to navigate, so unless you're playing with the stylus, it's kind of frustrating. There's also some pretty serious slowdown at times. Like, if you get a big combo, it just feels like the whole thing's gonna explode, which is not an ideal situation for a game about the sea. When things explode at sea, baby ducks get covered in oil. And Squids Odyssey has no dish soap. But you know what? At the end of the day, mere inconveniences for a game this enjoyable. The forgettable music and clunky menus and combo hiccups aside, This game rules. It's way more fun than you're probably expecting. It's addictive as hell. It's got more than 90 levels, and it's only 15 bucks. I mean, it costs more to go to Red Lobster. And even without biscuits, this is way better. It's Squids Odyssey, a great RPG, and one of the eShop's biggest surprises.